Yasu Malaka. Welcome to the Malaka podcast. Black Rob. Well, ladies and gentlemen, April 2021 is a very shitty year so far, but also it's been a very shitty month for the hip hop community. Not only have we unfortunately lost DMX at the age of 50, now we lost Black Rob at the age of 52. Now, for those of you who keep track of the hip hop world, when DMX died, we saw all these people, giving shout outs, and one of them was Black Rob. And we saw Black Rob appeared to be in some kind of hospital, and he just looked like he was on death's door. He just looked horrible. No offense or nothing. Just, like everybody was just like, wait a minute, like what's going on with Black Rob now? Is he okay? Did he, is he going through something? It was a shock to all of us. And, just shortly after that, he passed away. And it was unfortunate because Black Rob had an awesome album, Life Story. And he was part of that whole Bad Boy Records company there, in the late 90s. Obviously, it was a great time for hip hop in the 90s, just in general. But between, let's just say between 1995, 1998, 99, it just exploded with all these rappers and talent, and, the videos were just bright, and, with Hype Williams and Little X, and it just really was just a great time for hip hop. Is it a good time now? That's a story for another time. But, back then it was awesome. And Bad Boy Records had a huge influence on the industry. And when Puff Daddy came out with Puff Daddy and the Family album, Black Rob is right there. You can see him clearly on the album cover. He's the gentleman on the right. He's wearing what the Italians call the Gupaline hat. Everybody looked good, just representing their label and, doing anything for Puff. And, it's sad that a lot of times, we forget, these little people that just, bring, everyone else together and create such awesome music, his biggest hit was by far the song Whoa, which I always found kind of funny because, not because, I didn't like the song or anything. The song is awesome. Don't get me wrong. This song was so huge that it ended up on an episode of The Sopranos. And let me just say this. I always thought that was funny because if you watch that episode, that song that they play, it's the song Whoa, but it's clearly the edited version. So, again, this is a moment where, again, white people look bad. We don't do our research. So whoever did the song for that show probably just assumed that was the actual album version of the song, which it wasn't. You can clearly hear the edits in the song. And clearly, if you watch Sopranos, they didn't edit anything. So, like I was saying before with, the term whoa, whoa was kind of like a, I don't know, I always consider it more like a white term, like whoa, dude, or, or even like the word dude, that's, purely like a white word, let's just be honest, So, when he made that song, it was everywhere. Cool video too. And, I'd just like to talk a little bit about Black Rob, and with the help of Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, I'm able to do that. So if you guys don't mind, I'd like to dive right in and talk about Black Rob's career in life. Robert Ross, born June 8th, 1968, and passed away April 17th, 2021, known professionally as Black Rob, was an American rapper who was signed to Bad Boy Records. He was best known for his 2000 single, Whoa. which peaked at number 43 on the Billboard Hot 100. He spent 4 years in prison in connection with a hotel robbery in 2004. So, I mean, Wikipedia just, I don't know, jumped years ahead there. But yeah, you know, he's got a past. I mean, I remember when I first heard this story, it was like, what the fuck? I mean, why is he doing this? You know, because a year later he came out with another album, and you know, everybody's like, dude, you were part of that whole like bad boy family, and you know, like again, this is a huge misconception. Like people think, okay, just because you're part of a huge label, and you know, you see them, you know, in the videos, and you know, dancing, and I'm starting to sound like Suge Knight here. The point is, you know, it doesn't mean you're an instant millionaire and you're going to be set for the rest of your life. You know, it clearly wasn't the case. And yeah, he did this, and I was like, the fuck is he doing? I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, this is insane. I mean, to do this, and you hear about other rappers doing other shit, and sometimes you're like, you know, what the fuck? I mean, you know, it's a big misconception, you know, so I don't know what to tell you. It's not the best way to make money, you know. Guess it's not the worst either. I don't condone it. I'm just saying. But I have my past too, and I've done some stupid shit. You know, hopefully you learn from it and move on. But you know, again, you know, part of that whole bad boy craze. I mean, that album was huge. I mean, it's one of the few albums I remember. I'm talking about the Puff Daddy All in the Family. It was just everywhere, this album. I mean, hit after hit. I'll Be Missing You, Being Around the World. You know, I just, you know, great album too. And Black Rob had a song on there called I Love You Baby, featuring Puff Daddy. And yeah, you know, I mean, that got him a lot of recognition right there. And, you know, from there, you know, people were like, okay, you know, I want to hear more of this guy. And again, like I said, it was one of the few albums that went to number one on the Billboard charts. And, you know, obviously what goes up must come down. But then at one point, it went back up to number one. So that's pretty rare. I mean, once you go down, it's just going to keep going down, whatever. But, I mean, this album was huge. So, you know, and he was part of that whole, you know, record label, and it was a crazy time, honestly, you know. And it was just, you know, these guys were just producing hit after hit. It was awesome, like it really was, you know. And he was a big part of that. It says here that Ross grew up in East Harlem and began rapping between the ages of 11 and 12. He was inspired by the artists he listened to regularly, including Spoonie G, Dougie Fresh, and Slick Rick. Let me just say this. Spoonie G, I don't know a lot about. Obviously, Dougie Fresh, everybody knows him. Slick Rick, I mean, if you have not heard Slick Rick's first album, it's awesome. I mean, we all know it's a classic, you know. Definitely check that one out. Just saying. When he was 22, he joined his first rap group, and it was called the Schizophrenics. Though they did not release any albums, he initially rapped under the alias Bacardi Rob. He began associating with the Bad Boy label as early as 1996, appearing on the Bad Boy remix to 112's Come See Me. He was then featured on several Bad Boy releases, including remixes to Total's What About Us and Faith Evans' Love Like This, the song 24 Hours to Live from Mace, and albums by Puff Daddy and the Bad Boy family. Not All in the Family, like I said, which is, I probably said that because it's one of my favorite shows. It's been a while, guys, since I've listened to this album, but I do remember it being awesome. Puff Daddy and the Bad Boy family. And Notorious B.I.G. He also made 2 appearances on Crue's 1997 album, The Dirty 30, as well as albums by Old Dirty Bastard, Channel Live, The Mad Rapper, Benzino, Tony Touch, and others. These guest appearances earned him media buzz. In his earlier years, Black Rob headed the street rap team, which he named Alumni. His debut album, Life Story, was released in 1999 and rose above platinum sales. In early 2000, he released the hit single, Whoa, produced by Diggin' in the Crates crew member Buck Wild. Whoa became his biggest hit. The song peaked at number 43 on the Billboard Hot 100 and reached the top of both the R&B, hip-hop, and rap charts. It was Rob's only solo single to reach the Hot 100. Now, again, this record was huge. It was just like, it was almost like an anthem, this song. I'm going to get more into it in a little bit, but I mean, again, this song was absolutely huge. And if you know anything about Buck Wild, he has produced a lot of great songs as well. So it's no surprise, put these guys together, boom, hit. Despite subsequently appearing on releases by P. Diddy and G. Depp, he did not make another hit single. His second album, The Black Rob Report, failed to perform as strongly as his debut and quickly fell off the Billboard 100 charts. In 2005, Jamal Mosley from Off the Books Entertainment started managing Black Rob's career. In 2010, he parted from Bad Boy and signed to independent label Duck Down Records. In 2011, he released Game Tested, Streets Approved, which peaked at number 44 on the Billboard Top R&B Hip Hop Albums. Black Rob also started his own independent label, Boxin' One, with Jamal Mosley. In 2013, he joined the reality series Comeback Kings with Ed Lover, Calvin Richardson, David Da Vinci Chance of Rough Ends, Jeff Sanders, Jamio, Mr. Cheeks, and Horace Brown. In 2014, he appeared on the song Take 'Em Off the Map on Diamond D's album, A DM Piece. In 2015, Black Rob released his fourth studio album, Genuine Article, on Slime Style Records, which he produced with Jamal Mosley. Guest MCs include Sean Price, Tech Battle legend Murder Mook, and Quaz Emil. Ron Browse, former Bad Boy label mate Q Parker, of 112 of course, Kali Ranks, and Quan all sing choruses on the album. Producers include Easy Moby, Coptic, Big French, and others. So yeah, I mean, 4 albums for a rapper, that's pretty good. I mean, you know, I wish he stayed with Bad Boy for a little while longer, but yeah, I mean, like I said, the second album didn't do as well, and it's a good little album, like, don't get me wrong, but I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you know, again, like I said, I mean, people, you know, they don't get the business sometimes. You know, you could have a hit album, and then that next album, if it doesn't shape up, you know, or hit as big as the next one, you know, the label might drop you. You might just say, hey, you know, I didn't get enough sales, I'm gonna go somewhere else, and you know, shit happens, man. It is what it is. And it says here some of his legal issues. Black Rob was sentenced to over 7 years in prison in 2006 after failing to appear in court for his sentencing, which was set to be 2 to 6 years initially, on a charge of grand larceny from 2004, in which he pled guilty to criminal possession of more than $6,000 worth of jewelry stolen in a hotel. He was released from prison in May 2010 and was interviewed by BET 2 hours later. So BET swooped right in there, eh? Yeah, I get, you know, like, again, I don't know what possessed him to do this, you know, but worst case scenario, man, I mean, like, you got to show up to court. I mean, if you're, you know, okay, 2 to 6 years, you know, compared to 7 years, I mean, you know, again, I don't know what his background was before. I mean, let's just assume you have a clean record, you know, the judge might have leniency on you. You know, but again, you got to show up to court and be able to find that out. So, I mean, it doesn't look good. And unfortunately, on April 17th, 2021, it was announced that Black Rob had died at the age of 52 due to kidney failure. Now, from what I'm told from kidney failure, it is no joke. Again, it could be a million things that could, infect it. But, if you don't treat it well, it's a party, man. You always got to, treat yourself, well, and make sure you go, to the hospital. And again, this is how we, a lot of us found out how sick Black Rob really was, after seeing that video clip just before he died. And it's sad, man. I mean, 52, very young. Who knows what else he would have done, But like I said, he left 4 albums for us, okay? And I got to be honest with you guys. 99, 2000, that was still a great time for hip hop. I mean, when like the mid thousands hit, you started hearing, I don't know, it was just me, but like everybody rapping over kind of the same beat. And then, I don't know, today everyone's doing it. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares about lyrics. And it just, it's just great when you can have like a great lyricist and, great production behind it. And it just comes together so well. And, a lot of people's first albums is basically stuff that, they've been building up to their whole lives, and in many ways it's their life story. And that's exactly what Black Rob named his first album, Life Story. In my eyes, this album is an absolute classic. I still enjoy listening to this album to this day. There's a lot of great tracks on here. Like people were like, okay, who's this guy rapping over, other people's albums? And, finally, in the 90s, he got his chance to prove himself with his own album, and everything from, the rapping to production. I mean, this is just an excellent album. Absolutely excellent. The Source gave it 4.5 mics. I don't know what that other half is missing, but I mean, in my eyes, it's almost pretty much a perfect album. I mean, just give it 5 mics. I mean, fuck it, but again, this is just an excellent album, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about it, if you don't mind. Now, it says here on Wikipedia that Life Story is the debut studio album by American rapper Black Rob. It was released on March 7th, 2000 via Bad Boy and Arista. The album was praised by critics for its production and Rob's vocal presence and lyricism being similar to the late Notorious B.I.G. Life Story debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200 and spawned 2 singles, Whoa and Espacio. The album was certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America for selling 1 million copies in the United States on August 17th, 2000. The LP sold close to 178,000 copies in its first week release. Now, let me break it down to people that, I don't know, I guess are under the age of 15. So back then, yeah, this was a huge deal, okay? We did have the internet, but it wasn't like, an album comes out, boom, you can download it in 2 seconds on iTunes. They didn't depend on, YouTube streams or whatever. I mean, this is just, you put it on an album, people actually had to go physically to a store, buy the album, for the most part. And like I said before, he was part of the whole Bad Boy company there, and, these guys were just producing hit after hit after hit. And this was a big part of it, for sure. And it says here, the critical reception, Life Story garnered positive reviews for music critics for its production and Rob's musicianship. Roxanne Blandford of AllMusic commended Rob's vocal delivery for being reminiscent of the smooth, reserved style of the Notorious B.I.G. Let me just say this. I think the Notorious B.I.G. is the best rapper of all time. That's just my opinion. That's something I'm gonna have to get into in a whole different podcast. I'd love to do a whole podcast on the Notorious B.I.G. And if you don't know about the Notorious B.I.G., there's something wrong with you. I mean, let's just be honest here, okay? But overall, he is the best rapper of all time. So if you make your debut album and you're already compared to one of the best, in a lot of people's opinion, but in my opinion, the best rapper of all time, I'd say you got a pretty good head start. And being able to construct explicit tales with hooks you can feel and lyrics that stick, concluding that with 20 thoroughly bruising cuts, Black Rob's debut might just succeed in helping Puff Daddy regain the street credibility lost when Combs achieved mainstream crossover status. Now look, okay, everyone's like, oh, Puffy's, he's not a real rapper, he's more of a producer, and, he doesn't have the street cred, blah, 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 whatever. Listen, I'm always going to love Puff Daddy. And to me, I just want to say this right off the bat, he's always going to be Puff Daddy, okay? I heard he got that name from puffing out his chest or something, smoking weed or something like that. I don't know. It's one of the coolest rap names I've ever heard in my life. Okay, when you hear the story about the Notorious B.I.G. and he's working, whatever, and then at one point his mom in the background is like, "What kind of man calls himself Puffy?" And that it's true. I mean, if I had to tell my mom that I'm working for a guy named Puffy, she's probably gonna assume I'm doing porn, but at the same time, Puffy never really had that hard street cred. Let's say like a Jadakiss or a Beanie Siegel had. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I mean, the guy's built a hell of a fucking empire. And if that doesn't give you street cred, I don't know what does. Again, I'm a white kid from Toronto. What do I know? But I'm saying, but guys like him and just people that he had like around him, like Black Rob, the Locks, the Notorious B.I.G., like all these dudes, just helped him, and everything just came together really nicely. I mean, for him, like I said, in the late 90s, I mean, that's what, created the whole bad boy sound. So either way, man, it's pretty awesome. Anyways. Catherine Farr from Rolling Stone gave praise to Rob's skills as a rapper, coming across like a cocky veteran, spitting grime confessions, life story, and baller mantras. PD World Tour without breaking a sweat, and Bad Boy's crew of producers supplying the record with hook-heavy cuts, despite Puff's threadbare formulas from previous efforts threatening to pull it down, concluding that P. Diddy's meddling aside, though, most of life's story is well like woe. Vibe contributor Miguel Brook also praised Rob for being incredibly adept at constructing graphic, autographical episodes of intricate tales, and pointed out Puff's irritating ad-libs make it hot and wannabe rough rhymes down the line as negative qualities, concluding with, but that doesn't change the fact that although the album gets down and dirty, life's story is a breath of fresh air. Oh shit, I didn't know Puff Daddy got so much shit here, I mean, he did do a lot of ad-libs, that was kind of like the bad boy sound, I mean, he had to make sure, his shit was on the albums for sure. I mean, I didn't think it was that big of a deal, guys, sorry. I mean, wow. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, this album got a lot of high praise, I mean, keep in mind too that, the Notorious B.I.G., I mean, he gave us a little bit of everything, on both of his albums. And I've always said that. I mean, that's the great thing about this album as well, is that it gives you a little bit of everything. It gives you that, life story. It gives you the anthems. It gives you those reminiscent tracks. It gives you those dance tracks, cool couple skits here and there too, which is something, I don't know, yeah, you don't see a lot of skits in albums these days. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people feel they slowed down the album, or, it's just, made the album come to a stop, whatever. But I always said if it's funny and it goes with the album, then go for it. That's all. Anyways, the first track on the album is Miss Berry. It's an intro. Very simple track. You know, kind of eases you into the album, tells you a little about what Black Rob is about. It's actually produced by Black Rob. Also produced by, hope I'm saying this right, guys. Please don't kick my ass. Harvey, Joe Hooker, Perrier for the Hitman, and Petey Pablo. Petey Pablo, it's funny, like he had the hit song back in the day, Raise Up, with him and Timbaland there. I had no idea he was a producer as well, so that's cool. I never knew that. And then Life Story, very, chill beat, for the second track, just kind of, again, eases you into the album, produced by Nasheen Myrick and J. Wax Garfield for the Hitman. So, again, just tells you a couple facts about Black Rob, what he's about, and it prepares you for the third track, which is the biggest single that he had, Whoa. And, like I said before this, I'm just a white boy from Toronto. Whoa to me was always kind of like a white word. Like, it really was. I mean, it's not racist or not, but it just was. I mean, it's just, I'm going to shut up now. But the point is, this song kicks ass. I mean, this was an anthem. This song was everywhere, produced by Buck Wild. Buck Wild always made those big joints for sure. Great video too. I'm not going to lie to you. People give shit for Puff about... the whole ad-libbing thing, all of the record, whatever. But I don't remember him ad-libbing on this one. But the only criticism I have of him is in the video. Like at one point, Black Rob just, like everyone's going, whoa. Like there's like a cut in the music there. And he jumps on the big trailer truck there. And all the flames come out. And he's just rapping away, just in front of everybody on the street. And... everyone's like, whoa, whoa. And then like Puffy goes, whoa. I think he overdid it a little bit, maybe, but it was cool. I mean, that's Puffy, man. Puffy's one of the best roles, by the way, acting roles, I gotta say, is in Made, the movie they did with Jon Favreau and Vince Vaughn. If you ever have the chance to see that movie, check it out for sure. But anyways, like I said, this song was everywhere. It was an anthem. It was absolutely huge. Definitely can't ignore it. It's awesome. If you never heard it, go on YouTube, check out the video, check out the song. It's awesome. Then you got track number 4, Drive By. Just a little, like I said, a little simple little track, just to, give you a feel of the album and what the atmosphere is like. Produced by Ron Amen Ra Lawrence for the Hitmen. Eases you into the next track, number 5, Looking at Us, featuring CeeLo Green. Now, a lot of people before this obviously knew CeeLo Green as part of one of Atlanta's greatest rap groups, Goody Mob. A lot of people know him, for the song I Get Crazy, but before he started singing, he was a rapper. A lot of people forget that. And he was great on this as well, just giving you a feel of, both Black Rob and him. Like you would think today, I mean, you see CeeLo Green on the track today, you think he's going to sing, more than likely, and more than likely he does. But back then, he was, more of a rapper. And if you never listened to any Goody Mob tracks, please do. You can go on YouTube. I mean, that's the greatest thing about this generation is that you just go on YouTube, go through songs, all the albums. It's great, but obviously support your local artists, guys. Okay, support your artists that you love. Buy the albums, of course. I'm just saying. I mean, YouTube is there. The song was produced by Nasheen Myrick for the Hitmen. So we're seeing a pattern here. I mean, a lot of these guys were, part of this album, and I mean, track came out great. So. I mean, I think it throws off a lot of people that CeeLo Green was a rapper at one point. Not as much as a singer, and he had the You know, the very low voice. I mean, if you look at CeeLo, like you don't think he'd have a voice like that, but it just works. You know what I mean? So I think that's pretty cool. And you got the next track called Down the Line Joint, featuring Puff Daddy, Mark Curry, Mace, and G Dep. So obviously we talk about Puff Daddy, we know who he is. Mark Curry is another bad boy artist. Very close friend to Black Rob, especially the last couple of days. Like we had an idea of how close he was because he's the one just putting out all these videos and giving us all these updates online. Mace, you know him. You know, you should know him. If you listen to rap in the 90s, he's pretty obvious. And G Dep, of course, came up with the smash hit Special Delivery a couple years later. So, you know, this is just a nice little song, you know, just a good little, you know, beat there, done by Yogi for the Hitmen. Yeah, you know, shows off all the skills of the bad boy artists. And yeah, you know, again, I'm, you know, sure Puffy had a lot to do with this track. You know, you want to have an album that represents not only your main artist, but, you know, put some of your people on there and represent them as well. So that's awesome. Track number 7, Spacio, featuring Little Kim. Now, if you don't know Little Kim, basically, if you follow any rappers today, I mean, my generation, she influenced all of them. Okay, she's a little pissed off sometimes that a lot of people do not recognize what she did for the industry. Okay, I know Little Kim, I know. Okay, but a lot of these people don't. You know, there's a reason why you see artists like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, and the list goes on. Okay, so it's cool to have her on this track as well. One thing I'm always confused about is on this track they sometimes say featuring G Dep, which I can't, unless he's doing maybe some background ad libs. I don't know. Like I can't really. He definitely does not have a verse on this song, so I don't know what happened there. But yeah, it's for sure Little Kim is at the end of the song. This song is more like a party track. Little Kim even said the song, the term espacio means give me some space. And there we go, you know, showing off his background there, you know, where he comes from, you know. But again, nice little party track, produced by Mario Yellowman Waynes for the Hitmen. Now, Mario Waynes, he's produced a lot of tracks as well for Bad Boy. He had a huge part of that Bad Boy sound as well. Look up his discography, you'll see a lot of stuff. One song he did, I'll say this, he did a song on the Puff Daddy album Forever called Best Friend, and it's just about him, you know, talking about Jesus and, you know, just always being there for him, and like he provides a very good chorus vocal. I mean, the guy's got a very nice voice, so yeah, like I said, he's done a lot of stuff, a big part of the Bad Boy family at the time, for sure. Track number 8, You Don't Know Me, featuring Joe Hooker. Produced by Harvey Joe Hooker Perrier for the Hitmen. Yeah, no surprises there. Again, Joe Hooker had a lot to do with the whole Bad Boy influence there. You know, more of a like grimier beat kind of, you know, like that New York sound, you know. And again, in this track, you know, he's just telling you, you know, you don't really know me. You're still, you see me, you know, but, you know, get to know me a little bit more. And Black Rob, again, was not afraid to get more personal, you know, with his songs, you know. And that's what makes this album so good. It's like, he'll give you the party track, the reminiscent track, and, you know, like if there's tracks on there that are just, you know, good, hard tracks, you know, and this is one of them. Number 9, Can I Live, featuring The Lox. This is a classic track. Classic, absolute classic. I mean, you can't have a Bad Boy album without the Lox on there, for sure. I mean, the Lox came out with their first album, Money, Power, and Respect. You know, and after that, there was a couple problems. They didn't. Let's just say they didn't make a second album. But for a long time, the Lox was a big part of Bad Boy, and you know, which consists of Jadakiss, Styles P, and Sheek Louch. And every one of these guys, including Black Rob, killed it. And, you know, just the concept of, You know, they just want to do their own thing, and you know, just the concept of like, can I live? You know, I just let me be myself. Just let me live. Let me just live my own life, and you know, leave me alone. That's it. You know, like even today they still use that term. So awesome track, and it was produced by Derek D. Dots Angeletti for the Hitmen. And surprise, surprise, for those of you who don't know who this person is, he's also known as the Mad Rapper. Okay, now if you followed any Bad Boy album in the 90s, he was basically on every Bad Boy album, you know, a whole part of the skits there, you know, just providing a little comedy for the album. And but he was also a pretty good producer, and he produced this, and yeah, he hit it out of the park with this one for sure. Classic track. But a lot of people know him for the song he did with 50 Cent, How to Rob. So yeah, it's the same guy, ladies and gentlemen. Championship interlude, you know, simple little interlude, you know, nothing too spectacular, just very cool, you know, produced by Harvey Joe Hooker Perrier for the Hitmen, and also Black Rob, you know, which led you to the next track, PD World Tour, featuring Puff Daddy. Again, produced by Derek D. Angeletti for the Hitmen. Kind of a party track, maybe, but not really. I mean, it's kind of just, you know, a little bit more upbeat, you know. I think they're trying to go for like a little bit more of a, you know, maybe like a subtle anthem kind of thing, but it's a nice little beat, you know. Puff Daddy's on there. Nice little song. I like it. And track number 12, Muscle Game, you know, very chill track, featuring Mark Curry and Mario Waynes. Again, produced by Mario Yellowman Waynes for the Hitmen. Very smooth track, very chill, you know. Just trying to, you know, I mean, the whole concept of the muscle game is just, you know, how strong can you be? You know, obviously, hence the muscle. You know, very nice track, very, you know, something to chill to, relax to. So, you know, like I said, you get a little bit of everything on this album, which is really nice. The Cop skit interlude, produced by Harvey Joe Hooker Perrier for the Hitmen and Black Rob. Now, I love this skit simply because at the end of it, at one point, you know, the cop says, you know, and again, like I'm just gonna say this, like, I love it when black people make fun of white people, like, and they try to do that, hey, you there, buddy, you know, they sound like somebody from the South or something, and you know, and the cop asks him like, oh, like, what's your name? You know, he goes, oh, I'm Black Rob. He goes, oh, Black Rob, well, I'm white cop, and I thought that was hilarious. I don't know, just something simple like that. It's funny, you know what I mean? So that's what I miss from a lot of rap albums today. I don't know, they don't have any good skits anymore, which sucks. But that's a story for another time. Track number 14, BR, featuring G Dep. I think it's pretty obvious what the BR stands for. And again, two great rappers. I mean, G Dep. Oh, that's a long story right there. You know, to go into G Dep there. Like, again, I mean, you know, let's just say that every artist that has been part of Bad Boy, you know, they got some good stories, they got some bad stories. I mean, there's a history for a lot of these guys. But again, if you want to look into it, go ahead. But I don't know. For me, G Dep was a great rapper. And it's just two great rappers just going at it on the beat, and you know, produced by Derek D. Angeletti for Hitmen and Black Rob as well. So there you go. Thug Story. It is, I think the track says it all right there. Produced by Sean Puffy Combs, Harvey Joe Hooker, Premier for the Hitmen, and yeah, again, great story, great storyteller, Black Rob. I mean, you know, I always say that too. Like, I mean, if you're a stand-up comedian, you know, that's something that's died in stand-up comedy. Just as a side note, that a lot of people can't tell good stories anymore. You know, they drag out. They're not funny. People just want the, you know, quick funny there. But I enjoy a good rap story. I really do, and this is a good one. Track 16, same thing. Called Jasmine, featuring Carl Thomas. Produced by Derek D. Angeletti, Carlos Six Julie Broadley, Nashim Rick for the Hitman. If I'm mispronouncing any one of these names, guys, you have the right to kick my ass. I am absolutely sorry. I'm doing my best here. So, what I love about this track, and he did this on the next album as well. He tells a good love story, you know. And a lot of rappers don't do that. I mean, you know, you always hear about, you know, let's just be honest, you know, I mean, a lot of rappers, yeah, they disrespect women, hoes, bitches, whatever. I mean, it works sometimes, it works, sometimes it's overplayed. I mean, it is what it is. It's part of the culture. But, you know, he tells a great story here. I don't want to really give anything away. You should listen to it. A great beat with the Jamaican drums there. I mean, it's just awesome. And then Carl Thomas is on there, you know. Know that I got Jasmine on my mind. And then the drums come in. Dun, 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 dun. Great song. Absolutely. One of my favorite tracks on the album, for sure. For those of you who don't know who Carl Thomas is, you know, he did that song back in the day. And that later on, Jay-Z actually kind of, not made fun of, but he just like kind of referred to on Give It To Me, you know. And I wish I never met her at all, you know. He was, you know, a guy that always did a lot of vocals and choruses for the Bad Boy family there. He was a big part of the Bad Boy as well, so got to have him on the track. Together, this is a great song. It's, like I said, one of my favorite songs on the album. Awesome song. Mad Rapper interlude, surprise, surprise, produced by Derek D. Angeletti for the Hitmen. You know, it's just, you know, tell me this, you know, like he puts the voice on there, and Puffy's just trying to act like, I don't know, Brian Gumble or something. Just, you know, hey, we're back at the, you know, the Bad Boy show, and you know, it's funny. I mean, they just throw these tracks in there just to kind of liven up the album a little bit, I think, you know, but it's funny. I personally love them. I mean, this was, you know, definitely a big part of the whole Bad Boy family. So, yeah, there you go. Track number 18, I Love You Baby, featuring Puff Daddy. Now, this song was originally mentioned on, mentioned on the album of Puff Daddy and the Family there. And then it just, you know, they decided to put it on this album as a, you know, nice little bonus. Produced by Ron Amen Ra Lawrence and J. Wax Garfield for the Hitman. This is the song that really got probably the most attention from people from Black Rob at the time, like before he, you know, made an album or whatever. People were like, oh shit, who's this guy? I mean, he's got the, you know, 2 verses on there, you know, versus Puffy's 1, and, you know, he just absolutely killed it, for sure. So this track definitely was a good launching pad for him, and, you know, led to his own project, you know. You hear a good track by someone, you're like, yeah, I want more. So Puff Daddy and the Family, No Way Out was not enough. They needed a whole album with Black Rob, and they got it. Track number 19, Spanish Fly, featuring Jennifer Lopez, was produced by Yogi for the Hitman. Again, party track. Right before Jennifer Lopez like broke out, you know, with her singing career, you know, if you had my love, would you cry for me? You know, she can sing it better. Yeah, like she was on this track, and you know, both Harlem natives, both have the Spanish background. It just it made sense, you know. So the track samples, you know, that Madonna song, you know, again, guys, I can't fucking sing. Okay, so, you know, and again, nice little party track. So the second single was Damn Espacio, but they combined the next track, Spanish Fly, you know, to end the video. And I think at that time, that's when, you know, Jennifer Lopez kind of blew up, and yeah, they probably couldn't afford her for the video. God only knows what she would have charged at that time. But yeah, I mean, great song, you know, good little dance song, and there you go. The rest is history. Track number 20, Rise Up Interlude, done by Shankback. Very chill, you know, nothing super spectacular to, end the album with, but, there you go. After all this, he's finally risen up and, made an awesome album. And one more track, track number 21, I Dare You, one of my favorites by Black Rob featuring Joe Hooker. Produced by Richard Younglord Friesen. This song was originally, I remember, on the Slam soundtrack. It was an independent movie that came out. Good little soundtrack, too. And again, they just added this song on there, as a little bonus there. And, good strong track. Joe Hooker comes through with the chorus. Very powerful track. I always like this one of my favorites. And there you go, guys. That's how you make a good rap album. I get advice for some people out there. You know who you are, okay? People that think you just make an album overnight, and it takes time, guys. And any rapper out there should nowadays should absolutely listen to this album and just get an idea of what a good, solid rap. Okay, I use the word rap, okay, album should be. And like I said, this album is an absolute classic. It's excellent. I still enjoy listening to it today, like I said before. And Black Rob made another album, obviously, after this. Gotta follow up the success of the first one. This album was pretty good, too. I mean, obviously not as good as the first one, but still pretty good. I like it. The more notable tracks on here, Star in the Hood, that was one of the lead singles. And then you had Ready, which was definitely a club anthem for sure. I just love how he put the in the song. I thought that was great. At the time I was working at a club, and they played the song constantly. And one song that always stood out on this album for me was Watch Your Movements, featuring Akon. And again, I'm seeing a pattern here with Black Rob where, I don't know whose idea it was to get Akon on the album, but I mean, he absolutely killed it, You think of people that just have killed the choruses over the years. I mean, you got Nate Dogg, who started it all. You got Akon, and nowadays, you got Sway Lee and, carrying on the tradition there. And, he's a talented artist. I feel bad for a lot of the stuff he's been through lately. But, I was all right, man. But anyways, I mean, like, it seemed like Black Rob just literally would discover these people right before they kind of blew up. Jennifer Lopez and then Akon, and I mean, Akon, forget it. I mean, I'm pretty sure in the next 20 years, he's literally gonna have his own city or country, and you're gonna see money with his face on it, not Usher's. But it's pretty crazy what he's done with his career. But it's a great song too, great beat. Good little album. I like it. And again, with the Jasmine track on the first album, he came out with another similar track, When You Come Home, featuring Rhea. Great little song too as well. One song that definitely stands out, again, is Y'all Know Who Killed Him, featuring the Notorious B.I.G. Now, he's rapping in there. I mean, you listen to this track, man, I mean, you kind of, and again, it's, it's just crazy what happened to Biggie, and I don't know, you kind of wonder, what does he know there? Like, what's he implying there, and yeah, that's pretty crazy. So, again, this album did not get the commercial success, like the first one, but it's still a pretty good album. So I definitely recommend, if you like the first one, definitely check out this album as well. Absolutely. Then, like I said before, he left the label. He came out with another album called Game Tested, Streets Approved. I'll be honest with you, I felt the production was not there. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it says here that Buck Wild was in one of the tracks here, but I think the lead single was "Sand to the Beach," and I mean the whole concept. If you don't know the saying "sand to the beach," it's one of those things where, let's say, if you're a guy, you're, I don't know, going to an event, a party. I mean, it's basically implying that you don't bring your girlfriend or your wife. There's already enough women there, so you don't bring sand to the beach. I don't know. Like, it just didn't feel like a Black Rob album. I mean, you listen to the first two albums, especially the first one, and you're like, this isn't. I don't know. I'm not really. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. I don't know. I listened to it and I'm like, it's okay, but, I don't know. It doesn't sound like a Black Rob album. I'm just being honest. And then his last album that he came out with was in 2015, Genuine Article. And I would love to review this album, but unfortunately, guys, I can't find this album anywhere. I didn't even know until he passed that he came out with this album. I had absolutely no idea. It says here on Wikipedia, so it must be true. I tried looking it up. It's somewhere. I don't know. I couldn't find it. So hopefully in the future I can review it. But yeah, sorry guys, I couldn't find it. So I mean, it looked like it could be a pretty decent album, but I don't know. I don't know until I listen to it. So, but like I said, I mean, his first album is an absolute classic. The second album's pretty good too. So, but that first album, Life Story, is just excellent. Like, it's definitely a work of art in the rap world for sure. Absolutely. And it's a shame, the way his life ended. It sucks. It really does. And a lot of times, like, we don't know someone's sick, until they pass away, or, it sucks. And I also want to say this as well. Puffy's getting a lot of shit, and a lot of people online. You guys are, you guys know, what kind of pussies you are. Okay, you're going online and saying, "Oh, why didn't you take care of Black Rob before? This is your fault. This happened." Like, shut the fuck up. Okay. In the end, everybody's in charge of their own life. Okay. If you work for a company, let's say for 5 years, and then you left that company, and then like 20 years later, you don't expect that boss to take care of you. Okay. Let's just face facts, guys. Again, I'm not trying to come down on Black Rob or, anybody, that was connected to Bad Boy, whatever. But like, in the end, you're in charge of your own life. You know what I mean? And it's nice that Puff Daddy, has done the stuff he has in the last couple of weeks, for Black Rob. Okay, he doesn't have to. Okay, let's just be honest. He doesn't have to. Okay, but in the end, let's be honest. It does look bad if he doesn't do something. So that's the world he lives in. And of course, like, he doesn't have a problem doing it. Okay, it's not a money thing or whatever. But again, guys, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what happened. But don't come down on the guy and say, he. It didn't do enough, and he's the one, like, he's the reason why he's dead. That's fucked up, man. You guys have a lot. You people online, okay? And again, I don't want to hear shit about when I said you people, okay? When I say you people, I mean everybody, okay? Don't fucking put me in that group, okay? You're not gonna cancel me, okay? Cancel this. The point is, it's sad that this happened, and it's unfortunate that, his career had to end like this. And I saw a clip of him afterwards when he was released from the hospital, and he had to take all this medication still, and, it sucks. A lot of times, like when we're sick, we gotta go through a lot, guys. And a lot of us, we just keep it quiet, because we don't want the public to know, and we just don't want, people bugging us, and I understand that, and then near the end there, he said what he was going through and all that, and what he had to do, and it sucks. That's all. It's been a very bad month for hip hop. So losing DMX and now Black Rob. Let's just hope this shit doesn't come in threes. So yeah, I remember listening to that album Life Story just over and over again. Like I said, there's a lot of classic tracks on there. If you got a chance, if you love good stories, good production. Puffy did a great job on that album. Everyone else did a great job on that album. If anything, I'd like to say thank you, Puffy, for bringing Black Rob, to us, and exposing him to Bad Boy Records and making a classic album. So again, you never know when your time is, and a lot of people always say, the whole term now is like, show your flowers before someone dies, and a lot of times you don't know when someone is gonna pass away or about to pass away. You just don't know, so this is my way of showing my appreciation, especially for that first album. That first album is excellent. I've been listening to it for the last couple of days, and I feel like, first of all, you really realize how bad rap has gotten for the last 20 years. Let's just be honest. I mean, there's some good artists out there, but it's gone downhill a lot, guys. Okay, but yeah, you realize that there still is good music out there, and there's a lot of music that maybe the next generation has not listened to, but I highly recommend that you listen to Black Rob's first album, Life Story. And rest in peace to Black Rob and everybody in his family. My condolences. And when you're part of the music industry, I mean, some people don't even have the chance to make an album, and not long 4 albums, and today's rap industry, I mean, you can make a hit one week and you're gone like the next. You can make a hit and then that's it, you're done. But I've always said that good music will always live on, and no one really dies, because if you just remember who they are and what the joy they brought you, they'll live on forever. So, and a lot of people don't have a chance to tell their life story, and one man did, Black Rob.